Good to have everybody here. This is our third update. We are 6 weeks into the transaction. It's going pretty well. Okay, so I think the big deal where we are right now is Marilee and Cindy have spent several days at the property now, 6 or 7 days, just like getting to know the residents, getting to know the buyers, talking to the residents, getting a feel for everything. You guys have done the walkthrough, did a lot of interior, which we hadn't had before, so I'm really happy about that. Hi, Cindy. Do you guys want to just, you or Marilee, take it away and kind of talk about what you guys did?
So we did last week, Monday, Tuesday, did walkthroughs of each of the units. Using House Pro, I scanned each of the units, and then that will allow us to do mock-ups of different tiered renovations. Had a GC out to take a look at kitchen, do an exterior walk around.
And the bathroom.
Oh, yep, and the bathroom.
I thank you for sending that over. I'm going to share. So this is House Pro. This is our kind of contractor management software tool. It should help us with managing the site a lot easier, right? So we have digital walkthroughs of each transaction now. I think this is a super helpful piece because it gives very specific measurements for all units, for the whole darn thing. You can kind of create it as a dollhouse and kind of get an idea of where things are. And when I tell you that the kitchen is super small, this is what I mean. It's literally this. That is the kitchen. So, I mean, it gives really good proportional understanding of what will be done and what will be worked through. So when we start the process, Marilee is getting contractor bids right now. We'll know with pretty solid certainty what the size room dimension is and all of the important pieces from that. So the software is a huge value for managing that piece of it. All three of us, Cindy, Marilee, and myself, are relatively new at this software, but I think it will make a big difference. We've tried it out at the Laurelhurst building. It's another condo fund asset. I think this software is going to help us a lot. It's a learning curve for us, but I think it's been pretty helpful. Do you want to talk about the big tree?
The big tree that has to come out.
Yeah.
So there's a tree that is currently growing into the deck, and it potentially causing problems inside the unit as well. So it definitely needs to be addressed.
And that's unit number 1. And then talk to us about unit number 6 and the foundation.
There is a crack in the foundation of unit 6. It looks like it had been repaired before, although it may not have been repaired properly because the crack is back. So that will also need to be addressed, as will the decks.
Any other significant issues that you guys want to talk about?
Yes. All of the breaker panels are Federal Pacific breaker panels, which are a known safety hazard and known for causing fires. They're small. There's not a lot of power in each of the units, so they're really tiny little panels, but they need to be replaced.
We're getting bids on that. You may or may not know my other business partner, Dale, is a electrician. He's been an electrician for 36 years. He runs a general contractor business. And so we've got that. We knew that that was a problem going in. I think it's a relatively easy problem to solve. Getting new breakers and the whole, we're not going to replace all the electrical. I think that's fine, but the panels themselves are generally the issue. Okay, that's kind of where we are. You guys ask questions. You guys are super quiet. I'm used to all of you asking more questions.
I have a question. So everything that we just discussed, was this pretty much part of the plan, or are these new findings outside of what we were expecting? Obviously, now that you guys are getting inside and you're really taking an inventory of things, you're getting probably a much clearer sense as to the work that has to get done. Is what you're finding consistent with what you were hoping to see, or is it better? Is it worse?
100% exactly on par for what we thought.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, we knew about the foundation. I'm asking Cindy to reiterate some of this because she's new at it, so I want her perspective on it. But yeah, we're exactly on par for where I was expecting. Nothing unusual. Dale told me about the Federal Pacific panels 3 or 4 months ago when we did the initial walkthrough. Yeah, I think we're on par for everything. I would like to get a better understanding. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Unit number 1 has a really terrible walkway.
1 and 2.
1 and 2, yeah, okay. It's really concrete that's all just broken. I love all these firs, they're amazing, but they're definitely causing some issues. You've got these wavy sidewalks. I think that's a super risk for trip and fall. So that's a high priority we want to get addressed. Oh, the decks. Talk to us about the decks, ladies.
Several of the decks are not secured at all. The posts going down to the ground aren't secured at all. The posts themselves are on a cement block, but they aren't fastened to the cement block, at least not that we can see. So letters have gone out to all residents saying stop using decks. So that will need to be addressed. Clearly, the one that has the tree growing into it is an issue. So that all needs to be addressed. And then some of the other ones, their boards, the posts, support posts are pretty warped. And so that will also need to be addressed.
So Bill, to that question, I didn't think the decks were as bad as they are. That might be construed as a surprise. I think the decks are rough, but I thought they were usable and safe. Now, based on the contractors, like, yeah, you shouldn't let people use them. So we may have to either re-engineer the decks, rebuild them, or saw them off and start over. That is a bit of a surprise. I'm hoping not to do that. I think we can repurpose them instead of just starting from scratch.
Just the floorboards of the deck will probably need to be replaced. The decks themselves look good, but then the posts need to be addressed.
So for a few of them, most of the structure of the desk is pressure treated lumber, but we've got, unit 6 that had the twisted things and then just that they're not secured. So the recommendation was to get the engineer out there to say, hey, like add these fasteners or, whatever. But most of the deck boards will need to be replaced. They're not pressure treated.
They're 50 years old. It's we certainly have reserve budget for something like that, but I think we're in relatively good shape.
Yep.
Okay. More questions.
I was going to add one thing. So when you go into the units, it's a split level. So the bedrooms are on the lower level with the bathroom. Some of them have the laundry room downstairs. Some of them, the laundry room's up next to the kitchen. But the 2 bedrooms, bathroom down there. And then the upper level has the living room space, kitchen, dining room, and either the laundry room or, pantry storage, a couple of storage units. There's handrails that are on the living room side and then coming down between the stairs, like the 2 sets of stairs, and then there's like a handrail, and they are wrought iron, like 70s style, and wide enough apart for little kids' heads to go through. So that, as a safety issue, that is not up to code and does need to be replaced.
And there are little kids living.
And there are little kids, yeah. A lot of them have put up like a mesh and attached it with like zip ties or something like that. I mean, they've managed it, but they just need to be replaced.
Yeah, so I think everything's coming. At the meet and greet, several people talked about air quality issues, dampness. What were your thoughts about that?
It sounded like all of those problems had already been addressed.
Yeah, and when we talked to people in their units, especially those that had specifically talked about, a flood or mold or whatever, everybody said that those things had been addressed. So we didn't, I know I couldn't smell anything. I didn't notice any particular odors or dampness or anything like that.
Cindy has spectacularly bad respiratory issues. If there were mold in the place, she would have been the canary in the coal mine. She didn't have any issues. So I feel really good about that. So I think any mold mitigation that we were told about initially, I don't think is an issue. I think it's breathability, the health of the air, I think is fine. So those were concerns at the meet and greet. I think they've all been solved.